Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly, and got a good one for you today. Up in Dana Point, on top of the hill, at the Harbor Point Conservation Park. That's just absolutely beautiful. Got these trails. Just a really cool place to look, but it overlooks the bay with all the boats and everything below us. There's so much to talk about today. The potential rail strike that looks unavoidable at this point is going to create huge problems for the economy that's going to affect each and every one of us. And you can sit there and say, oh, how's it going to affect me? And I ride the train. I'm going to cover it all. Before I get into it, please take a second. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget that we have an email list that you can sign up for. The link is below. And also, if you want more exclusive content, there is Patreon right now. Let's get into it. The rail strike is going to happen because there are 12 unions that are, wanting better work conditions, to say the least. And the one thing that they've done is they've agreed that if they don't all agree, there is no agreement. So I had reported 3 days ago that there was good news that, 3 of these unions had gotten together. It was the mechanics, it was the Boilermakers, and one other union had said, hey, we're going to agree to a tentative agreement, and that fell apart. So this is going to potentially destroy and cripple deliveries around the country. It's going to destroy and cripple people that ride the trains. Now, here's the thing. There's people right now going, I don't ride the train, Dan. How could it possibly affect me? Well, the majority of, Midwestern farmers, they ship things via the trains. And with these trains and this not running, it is going to be absolutely catastrophic. Now, there were 2 radio stories that I heard today that really changed my mind on this thing big time. The first one was an actual worker that was one of the union members. And he said, these people don't get it. They think that we're just complaining that we want more money. And again, this is what's wrong with unions, in my opinion, is that you need to let people know what the issues are earlier. Here's the thing. We get to a point where there's a problem with something, then we hear about it. And again, maintenance helps, fixing things early. There's a value in doing that, fixing your finances early so that you don't have a catastrophic problem. Oh, what a good idea. Make sure your car has maintenance, okay? Make sure the union members are happy so that it doesn't come to the 11th hour and things like this, because this is crazy. Because one of the union members was talking about his quality of life, and I've got a family and I've got kids, and people don't realize that, we'll do 12 and 14-hour shifts. I'll get home with a 1-hour break and have to go back. How is that a quality of life where they're demanding that I come back and work? Well, how is that? Who would do that? You wouldn't ask somebody that works at Starbucks to come back and do that, but we're supposed to have rail workers do that. And again, when my kids were young and they had sports and dance and different activities, Girl Scouts and all the stuff that we were involved in, you want to be part of that, because the memories that you create with your kids, you don't want to be one of these dads that's never there. So these rail workers, because they're making this guy work, he can't participate in his kid's hockey or his kid's baseball or anything that the kids does outside of school. Well, he got to pay your bills. No, it's got to be a quality of life, guys. It's that simple, okay? Now, the farmer that talked about this is, you guys don't understand how bad this is. And I found stories to back this guy up. This will be a minimum just from the infrastructure and the food shortages. It'll be $2 billion a day in damage if this thing goes together. So all the grains, all the wheat, all the fertilizer, everything that's shipped via these trains is a huge amount. Plus, there are not enough trucks. If every truck, semi-truck, was dedicated to replace what the rail workers were shipping, there would not be enough trucks in the United States active. Even if they took all the people that can't work here in California and all these other states that they have trucking issues, not enough trucks to solve this issue. So again, this gets really, really, concerning when you start to think about that. Now, Amtrak just announced no long-term routes across the country. They canceled everything. So think about this. If you had a trip planned on Amtrak, they're not going on it as of Thursday. That's not going to happen. Now, I started to look into this and I'm like, oh, this is terrible because let's face it, there's people that don't want to travel via plane. There's people that don't want to drive too far, so they take the train. Okay, now that's bad. But the next thing is Metrolink here in Southern California. I'm in South Orange County. You've got two cities and then you've got San Diego. There is a thing called Metrolink here, which is the train system that transports people to and from. And you've got, here in Orange County, you've got Anaheim that I know of. You've got Irvine or Tustin. You've got San Juan Capistrano. You got San Clemente as far as the train stations that people can go to. Well, a lot of people use these trains to run their business and to work. And, my girlfriend teaches lawyers to pass the bar exam. She had several students that lived in San Diego take the train up, wouldn't drive to her classes and would just get off, take Uber, a few blocks or walk. That's just what they would do. I knew a lot of lawyers that I met through her class that would take the train to go to Los Angeles, all the way from San Diego to Los Angeles, work during the day, cell phone, and run their business, and they canceled Metrolink. So Metrolink is going to shut down in Orange County, San Diego. This is huge, guys. This is going to affect a lot of people. And again, it's not if you ride the train or not. It's what's shipped via these trains, which is the freight trains and the cargo trains ship so much food and merchandise for our daily existence that we just don't even realize it. So it's nuts right now. And this is just going to be catastrophic because it's going to make inflation spike. It's going to do so much damage that I had heard that for every day, it'll be 5 weeks to get caught up, which you can sit there and say, oh, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense, Dan. But when I heard this farmer talk about just how it's going to kill crops, it's going to kill an industry that's already suffering right now with the supply chain issues that they've had over the last few years, this is only going to get worse. Now, this walkway, just kind of cool. These are all protected lands. And then they set up these walkways here for you to walk through, which is just kind of cool. And then you've got these different lookout points up here. And again, free parking. You've got, just places to hang out and check out everything. I love Dana Point. I was here, around the holidays, and it was really nice. Get a lot of helicopters on the coast too. There's no way around that. But so that is Dana Point Harbor down there, which is really nice. Get a little better shot of that. That right there is a beach called Baby Beach. The cool thing about that beach is that you can take those paddle boards, you can rent them there, or you can drive up and use your paddle board there. So, the White House right now did a victory lap for their inflation fighting bill, which is insane, guys. We just heard that inflation is through the roof, and it's down here, but it's up here, guys. This is ridiculous. Okay, I paid over $6 a gallon for gas today. And, at a place that was cheap, about $1 more this week than I paid last week. Okay, well, who's not talking? Nobody's talking about that. So we're seeing major problems right now. This inflation spike is going to be catastrophic. You're going to see the Fed absolutely raise interest rates next week at the meeting. How much? 0.75 point? What if they did the 1.25 that people are talking about? What about that? Now, regardless, think about what I'm about to tell you. Interest rates for mortgages, 6.33%. This is from Mortgage News Daily. This is not Kookaburraville. This is real. Now, here's the thing about these posted rates, and that all the realtors and all the mortgage people, Dan, understand, that's for the top 10%. Those rates are for people that have great credit, great down payments, and don't have issues with their credit or their jobs. Well, think about this. People that have issues with their jobs, do you know how many people, hey, my wife changed her job last year? Well, that doesn't show stability in the workplace. Ding, 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 a few points higher. We missed a few payments in 2020, when things were bad and we were locked in the house and, we just didn't know what was going to happen. Ding, 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 okay? It just, there's a lot of things that affect people's credit and affect it so that they're going to pay these higher mortgage rates. That is insane, 6.33%. And it's only going to go higher. Now, I got a kick out of the people that wrote me and said, hey, things are, going to go down. The interest rates are going to drop between now and the end of the year. No, they're not. Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? This is just so bad. Check this out. Isn't that beautiful? Just nice. You know, all the boats, everybody out here. Just a beautiful day. You know, the rain that we got was nice because it really cleaned things up, and we desperately needed it. You know, the roads get all dirty and stuff like that. But here is a sick fact that about mortgages that you have to look at, and that's this. Right now, for adjustable rate mortgages, they're up 50% right now. 50% of all the mortgages are adjustable rate mortgages right now. So when you hear those numbers, that is absolutely catastrophic because people cannot afford a fixed rate loan, so they go with the adjustable loans. You know, one thing that I always ask people is, do you read your paperwork to see what the highest your loan payment could be? Why? Why worry about that? Damn, that's crazy. Well, people don't do that. The point is that, you know, what year was that? 1990, 89 to 90. I had an adjustable loan on my house, and the payment, got the letter. Here's the letter that says what the new payment's going to be. And I'll never forget knowing that the teaser rate had kicked off and it had jumped up over $800 a month when I finally had the guts to open it and look at that. But again, you know, foolish. I was a kid. Okay, it was a few years back. So, guys, if you don't think that this is going to get worse, you're kidding yourself. Things are going to get so much worse right now. And think about this. This year we talked about the average person in January. The average person doesn't have $400 to cover an emergency right now. So the average person doesn't have $400 to cover an emergency. And then we heard that the number was $600. Well, now the new figure is families need to have $1,400 for an emergency. That's the new figure. Read the story below. $1,400. A lot of people don't have $1,400 to their name, to their savings account right now. And, you know, talking to Bob yesterday, one thing that really got people, you know, under their skin with Bob, and we'll bring Bob back in the future, but one thing that got under people's skin was, think about this, more money was taken out of banks last month than was put into banks. That is horrific. And more people right now are living on their credit cards than ever and overextending themselves just to make ends meet right now. How bad is that, guys? That's just awful. And again, Dan, it's going to get fixed. Things are going to get better. I'm going to sell more. You know, you have to get yourself ready for this. You have to understand that right now we are living through such a time that's going to be different in the future, and it's going to get worse right now. And I shouldn't say nobody, a lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people want to hear that things are going to get worked out and things are going to get better before they get worse. And I'm just a realist right now. And the older I get, the more I'm ready for this, because I really think that the good times are here right now. The best of times right now in the last couple of years are right now, and that they're going to go downhill from here. And when you think of it that way, you're going to prepare. You're going to be more frugal. You're not going to, you know, waste money. They're going to get rid of things that don't matter. You know, I had another person that wrote me today and told me that, Dan, I'm so grateful. I took your advice. I sold my car. I got $8,500 for it. It is off. It is transferred. It is great. Okay. How lucky is that? You know, my son, you know, had a van that broke down, died, the engine done, finished. And I just told him, you better get rid of it now because people aren't going to have the money. And took him about a month to sell it, but he sold the thing, got rid of it now over waiting. That's what you have to do right now. That's what we're living through right now. We're living through such a time that people will not have money around Christmas time. You're going to see a very bleak Christmas. You know, last year I started talking about this in like October, where people were saying it's going to be the most expensive Thanksgiving ever. And I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy. Well, this year, not only is it going to be expensive, but you're going to have food shortages this year. And again, if you don't think that the grain shortage is going to be a big deal, you're kidding yourself. Oh, by the way, this is on the Pacific Ocean too. Isn't that cool? You know, you got that rock out there. It's right there. Well, it's just really nice. Just really, really some different spots. But when the weather clears up, these are really cool. When it's hot, this is brutal out here. But Dana Point's a really nice city. When you go down here, that's the bay. There's a bunch of restaurants there, and they decorate that thing to the hilt. They've got like a whale that they put lights on at Christmas time, and just really, really beautiful, and lots of fun restaurants, and you can see all the boats that are in the harbor. Just a beautiful spot. But get ready, man. Just take this seriously, because, you know, I have mortgage brokers that write me, and when they see this video tomorrow, they're going to say 6.33% is a great mortgage. Okay, it is. And again, it's the highest mortgage rate that we've had in 8 years. Okay, so what, Dan? Big deal. No, it is going to dramatically affect the price of real estate. You're going to see housing prices drop. You have almost 100 markets. Now, that's not just a city, because you can say Orange County is a market. Okay, even though you've got areas that are less expensive than here at the beach, but over 100 markets that are starting to turn and be less expensive. When do you draw a line with that and say, oh, that's serious? Because it is serious. So share your thoughts on this stuff. The rail strike's gonna be a problem, guys, and it's gonna be something that is gonna destroy businesses right now. It's gonna destroy communities. It's gonna destroy, you know, travel. It's going to destroy everything. Now, think about this. You know, I know people that have flown, and then they say, hey, listen, the interconnecting flight's not going to work. You got to hop on the train. And they put people on the train back east. Not going to be able to do that now. So share your thoughts on all this stuff. And again, the people that don't ride the train don't get it. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't. A train for me is fun. Hey, let's go on the train. It'll be cool. We'll go down to the beach and check it out. In Carlsbad in San Diego County, there is this really cool work lofts that have, you own a retail establishment on the bottom floor, and upstairs is, you know, a loft and a living unit. And I'm like, oh, that would be really cool to own that. But the coolest part is in the parking lot. The same parking lot is the train station. So I could sit there and I go, I could live there, and I could have my friends and business colleagues and everybody come and meet at my office, at my house, and put them back on the train. Get rid of them, you know, it'd be great. But again, it's crazy, guys. You're going to see stuff like this just get completely destroyed. And I can't believe there's people swimming down there. It's just people rowing, small boats. It's very cool. The pontoons, all this stuff. Let me get a better shot of that for you. The more that we talk about banking on this channel, the more that I am told different stories from different people and how they've been affected, because they think that they live on an island basically, and oh, this is only happening to me. Well, Starbucks is having multiple locations with outages where their credit cards don't work. And you can say, oh, it's just a regional thing, Dan. This happens with credit cards sometimes. No, I'm talking about California to Canada. We're seeing issues. And one person in Canada sent me this picture where they took the time to make a sign to say, hey, we can't take credit cards right now. Now, this goes one step further, and people get paid in different ways. People use PayPal, and we're seeing all these restrictions put now on PayPal where they're holding money longer. Hey, listen, we need you to re-verify the company and tell us about this company so we can understand what you're selling and how you get paid and things like that. But all your sales this week are being held until you verify this. Okay, well, I'm doing the same thing I've done for the last 8 years. And they want to know what it is again. And again, the introduction to your bank, not PayPal. You can't drive to a PayPal office and talk to somebody. And PayPal's customer service is attached to India, which I have a problem with. And, you know, just had to help somebody with their financials for their business through PayPal. And it used to be click, 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 click. Here's here you go. And I kept telling her, well, what are you doing? It's so simple. Just go in there and click on it. And then went to her house to help her. And I'm like, wow, this is a mess, to where we had to get on the phone. And then I have somebody on the line with us. We have to authorize him. So they had to authorize me to be able to sit there on the phone with the guy in India so that he could get it done right. And then when he shipped it to her, as far as emailed it to her, it was done wrong. And we had to sit there. And it took quite some time to get this done, just to get her sales figures from PayPal. But this is happening more and more. eBay sellers that sell things that have had thousands of transactions that are having funds held. Why? Why is this happening right now, guys? Don't you see that they're clearing out the herd? They're getting rid of people that they think are questionable in any way, shape, or form. Whether you're questionable or not, explain to us that you're a good person. Oh, okay. More people getting bank deposits held, more issues with ATMs that are closed, more issues with Bank of America for some reason. You'll walk into a Bank of America and they will say, we have no tellers today. What is that about? What is the point of having a branch open for any reason that you can't do banking? You can't cash a check. Okay? Well, we have no tellers today. We can help you make a deposit if it's not cash. If it's a check, we can do that. Well, I need a cashier's check. Can't do that. Can't do a wire transfer. Can't do banking, guys. So, this is escalating more and more and more. Now, out of Reuters, Lebanon, 2 men were very upset that they couldn't get their deposit out of their bank, so they decided to rob the bank. We don't want anybody else's money. We want our money back. And because the Lebanese bank was holding it, so much so that they had to do an armed robbery to get their $13,000 out of the bank. Now, again, that's wrong, and we're not condoning that in any way, shape, or form, but this is insane, guys, that people cannot walk into a bank and get it. Now, you can sit there and go, damn, that's Lebanon, they're backwards, it's a mess. Inflation is, 80% or whatever it is this week. But the point is that, guys, don't you see a pattern here? You see a pattern around the world. The UK, Israel, all these places that are limiting money in, money out. The next big crash that they anticipate, and read the story below. This is not Dan. This is from, CNBC and all these different people below, is the fact that the credit market for bonds is going to crash. Now, the guy that talks about this all the time, ad nauseum, I'm going to use his word, is Greg Manarino, talking about how the credit markets are going to someday freeze up. Well, the banks and their stories, the reporters are starting to talk about this now, saying, hey, ding, 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 over here, look at this, okay? The yield curve is inverted, okay? The 2-year bond pays more than the 10-year bond, which makes no sense, guys. And it's never been inverted this long or this high in the history of finance, ever, okay? So that means normally when this happens, it's usually followed by a recession, Dan. And again, look up stories like that, guys, because that's what it means. But now, you know what it means? It means that everything is, everything's in flux. Everything's in play right now. Everything is so precarious right now with the average person, and people are borrowing more money, and people are willing to go buy homes. I have realtors saying, hey, Dan, I'm in this area, and some jackass just bought a house over asking in this area. Bob was telling me stories yesterday about people in his neighborhood that were buying houses over ask. Still, well, we want to get in this community and we don't care. We're going to live here forever. Okay. Nuts, guys. Absolutely nuts. So share your thoughts on this stuff, but have you experienced a longer than normal hold? Have you experienced any shenanigans? Have you experienced things not being normal with merchant accounts, with credit card transactions? Here's the thing. There are several ways to get money for your business. Tons. A great way is if you do a substantial amount of credit cards, you can do a thing called a merchant cash advance, where you can go to different companies and they will lend you based on your credit card sales. Now, it's better than a credit line because you pay this back by swiping your credit card again and having sales. Now, the problem with it is if you don't have credit card sales, then you don't pay them back and they'll eventually sue you. But when I had a business that was doing about 900 grand a year in credit cards, it was a great way to get money quickly to do that. Now, right now, these credit card transactions, they're demanding that they can change the terms on these credit card loans. So they're a great way to do it. But again, people take too much money out, and then it's too restrictive. And then the bank says, no, we want you to pay us 30% back for each transaction. So if you swipe $1,000, they're going to take $300 from that transaction, which is a lot of money. So we're seeing craziness though right now. Okay, people don't have the money, people are backed up, and everything's in play right now. But you know, you've got the Biden administration doing a victory lap on their, you know, inflation bill. It's just nuts, guys. Okay, it's just nuts. You know, sports and schools are so expensive right now that they're demanding that kids have to pay things like travel expenses and bus fees and things like that to the tune of hundreds of dollars per sport per year. Now, my son, give you an idea, you know, you get people that just don't have the money. And Johnny plays baseball. So we put together the money and we got his uniform and he's on the team. Great. Oh, well, you know what we need? We need insurance now. You got to pay insurance of $300 a year in case Johnny gets hit by a ball. And then the travel expenses is $200 a year too. Where does people come up with this money? They just don't. And some have family members, some have help. But again, things are awful. And when they do fundraisers and they try to sell things and do car washes and things like that, nobody shows up now because most people don't have money for this stuff. So share your thoughts on this stuff. It's just escalating deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. But let me know about all this stuff. And again, are you seeing places? You know, we see restaurants that have credit card issues, and we see restaurants that are closing more often. Here's the thing. We're seeing signs here in Orange County, like in the beach communities, because I work late in the evening editing and doing stuff for you guys in these videos, that, oh, let's go out and get something to eat. So you have to sit there and look to see what's open and then call them. Hey, are you guys still open till 9 o'clock? You still open till 10 o'clock? And they're not. We're gonna stop serving at 8:30, even though we're open till 10, you know, because we don't have the staff. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys, because it's just not getting better. Isn't that beautiful out there? It's nice. Isn't this nice? On the edge of the cliff, they've got this big deck that you can walk out on. My apologies if it's windy out there, guys, because it's just whipping up the hill. But you got this view down there. Isn't that nice? It's absolutely stunning. I'm going to finish this video with this last story. And there was a man that you may or may not know that just passed away. His name was Fred Franzia. And Fred was a winemaker. And Fred developed the Charles Shaw wine with his brother. And that was the $2 chuck that was at Trader Joe's, which sold, you know, millions and millions of dollars around the country. And basically it was wine, Chardonnay, Pinot, Cabernet. It was $2 a bottle, and very, very famous. Now, a couple good stories with this is that when my kids were in school, these parents would host all the other parents. And I'll never forget, I walked into a party once and, oh yeah, I guess I'll have a glass of wine. And they had it in decanters. And she's like, and she had all these really expensive empty wine bottles out. And I'm like, yeah. So I poured myself a glass. She said, don't drink that. That's the $2 chuck. Use this. It's the real stuff. So the woman would dump the $2 chuck in and have the expensive bottles out so that everybody thought that she was serving a much better wine. And nobody complained because they didn't know. And which was funny to me, okay, because I rarely drink wine. But the best one was my 20-year high school reunion, which was a few years ago. I got suckered into putting it on, which is a great story in itself. But one thing that we did was, the bigger the audience, we made it so that the reunion company and the hotel would kick in more money towards free stuff for the hotel. Better room, more bars, more serving areas. So if we sold 50 tickets, we got this much, 100. We had over 200 people at this thing. It was a total success. But anyways, at the end of the night, after the hotel, the party had ended, we had a separate party room, one of those rooms that you have for business parties, and they don't have beds. They're just, you know, a huge meeting room up on top of the hotel. So one guy that was at the party every chance he got, he told everybody how much money he made. And he walked up to the bar and he would say, how much Dom do you have? Can I get Dom Perignon? Listen, guys, I have that kind of money now. That's what I've got. So, okay, jackass. So he kept buying bottles of Dom, one after another. And at the end of the night, he walks with Dan, you did just such a good job on this thing. I want you to have this as my gift. He gives me 2 bottles of Dom. So I'm like, okay, great. So, you know, I'm pouring it for everybody. And all of a sudden, these women walk in that, you know, second burst of energy, party's over, they change, they're ready for partying. And this guy was like, oh my gosh, Dan, you got to introduce me to all these people. I'm like, you went to school with these people, you don't know them? No. So anyways, he's like, get some of that Dom. Well, it's gone now. And we had bought Cook champagne. At the time, it was $3.99 a bottle. So this guy said, what am I going to do? I got to give these women drinks. So he went to my room and took the Dom and poured it, the Cooks, and poured it into the Dom bottles, and walked in with bottles of Dom that they thought was Dom, and it was the $3.99 Cook champagne. So just a complete jackass. And anyways, he went home alone, and never saw the guy again too after that night, which is kind of funny. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon. And I'm telling you guys, share your banking horror stories. Share your horror stories with the merchant accounts not working. This stuff is fascinating, guys. It's only getting worse right now. So let us know about it. I will see you guys very soon.